We are live. Hello, hello, my beautiful people. Hello, hello. We are back on our Body, Mind, and Soul Connections on Network event. We come here every second Sunday, twice a week. Twice a week. What's gonna happen one day? See, I'm premeditating. Every 2 weeks, I meant to say, and uh, and we are super excited to be here. We will all love to hear about where you tuning from. If you're watching this live or replay, please let us know. Connect with all of us. And you know the deal. If you've been here before, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning from. And we're going to dive deep into to spot some lights and some shining lights on the guest that we have today. And today, we only have one, but we're going to spotlight a lot of light on her. So welcome, welcome everyone. Let's say hello to my beautiful co-host Lorna and Michelle. Hello, my beautiful ladies. We are excited to be here. So we're gonna dive deep a little bit. I think a little bit deeper into each one of us with who we are, what are our gifts, and what we doing, why we doing these things. The beautiful behind the why. So we'll go quickly, like we always do, around our circle. We just introduce ourselves, so your name, your title, where are you tuning from, and then we're gonna pass it on to Lorna. We're just gonna dive a little bit deeper into our beautiful gifts. So we're gonna start with our amazing guest. That she was amazing speaker on a previous micro summit. So we're gonna let Tanya let us know where you're tuning from.
I'm coming to you directly from Coralville, Iowa.
Awesome. And you want to say your title, a bit of your title?
Yeah. Well, my name is Dr. Tanya English, and I'm known as the Soul Chiropractor. And I have Quantum Healing International as my business.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Awesome. Lorna.
I'm tuning in from beautiful British Columbia on the western side of Canada, and my title is Sex and Spirit Alchemist of the Feminine-Led Life.
And Michelle.
Hey guys, Michelle Beauchard, natural entrepreneur, sometimes called digital doula or mission technician, and I'm coming to you from the far left coast of Canada on Vancouver Island near Victoria, BC.
And I'm Adriana Di Marvel, yours truly. I am in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I'm a confidence and communication coach. And we are excited to start this today. So we're gonna wave it into the circle. We pass it on to Lorna. Lorna, I want to take it over.
Certainly, thank you. And Tanya, we're so thrilled to have you back here again with us. As we had mentioned before, this is the first time we get to have you in the Connection Circle, and you were one of our guest speakers on the panel for our grief micro summit, and such wisdom that you shared there. So those of you who are watching here, our circle live or by replay, do encourage you to check out the micro summit and all that was shared by Tanya and the other guests we had there as well. There was a lot of beautiful wisdom and enlightened experience shared that really took us into a different experience of how we often perceive and experience grief. Today we have our circle, and we are going to be doing, I'm just going to do a feel in to when we do our circle, who we're going to start with order. And Tanya, the way that we're going to do this is we'll have everybody share, and in the comments there you'll see, or in the chat, you'll see the different things. There's 3 different things to talk to about. One of them is your gifts, and we're not talking about freebies. Freebies have such a great opportunity for somebody to tap into what it is that anyone has to offer. In here, what we're doing is tapping into the gift of you. Your superpowers, your presence in the world, what it is that you bring to the world, the gifts of you. So what are your gifts? Who you serve and how you serve. So what is you can talk about your avatar, you can talk about who you serve and how. Is that one-on-ones, is it group, is it retreats? However that is for you. And why do you do what you do? You can mix those up in whatever order you feel moved to share, but see if you can touch into each one of those. And Adriana, I'm feeling for you to begin today to speak to that. I know that you also had, as a prolific and profound speaker as well. You just had some opportunities, you and Tanya both doing some speaking. You did yours yesterday and Tanya today. So Adriana, if you would share with us the gifts of you and how we do that. Now, the way that we're going to do it is, Tanya, one of the things that makes our circle really, I'm going to say unique and really special and potent, is that we weave the circle together by whoever was just shared. As the next person speaks, then we're going to invite you to take something that you have heard, something that resonates with you from that speaker, and you're going to pick that up and weave it into how you resonate it with it, and then so make that connection, and then use the duration of your time to speak to your gifts, how you serve, who you serve, and why you do what you do. So I'm feeling today that we're going to go with 8 minutes of sharing, and just go ahead and really dive into that. So Adriana, please go ahead and share with us.
So I love number 8 because it's the infinite sign. Is exactly what I wear on my neck all the time, is to remind myself that I have infinite power and possibility to expand and grow every single day. And so that is a beautiful, beautiful number. I love it. I'm going to start with a little anecdote, or like a little analogy that was been told to me a couple of years ago that helped me with my own journey and my own why. They say that when an egg is broken from outside in, it's called broken. And when an egg is cracked from inside out, it's called birthed. And this is a little bit of my journey. The first part of my journey, I'm 40 years old. So the first, not for more than first, let's be honest, 3/4 of my life until now, I was 30 something when I started waking up. I was that part, the first part of this analogy. I thought that everything and everybody was breaking me from outside in, and I was broken. I put a label on me that I'm a broken child, that nobody understands me, that I'm weird instead of saying unique. I was a very curious child, always asking questions, why the tree is a tree, what is growing? And everybody said, shut up, you too much, you too much, you too much. So I associate the too much with I'm not enough. And then life laughing us, like every single one of us. And then it took me to a point where I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a voice. I was lost. I was going by the patterns was the society, family, indoctrination, and so on. They took me growing up in Romania in a very patriarchal culture. And then I run with that because that's all I knew. You do what you knew and nothing else because you don't know. And then as I progressed through my life, I did the marriage, I did the things I need to do, like the pathways I've been put on. But I still knew, I felt something inside of me is not fulfilled. And then I keep having this idea, it's not enough, it's not enough. And then people keep coming back to me reflecting, you're not enough, you're asking too much. Stop, be grateful for what you have. Shut up and just speak when you asked. Until life me again and again and again with problems, health problems, financially, divorce, relationship, doesn't matter what relationship I was not working. I couldn't feel fulfilled. Nothing I was doing, it was not working. And then one day I woke up and I look at the person in the mirror. That's when it hit me. That's when I did the transition, emotionally, energetic, financially, you name it, all of them, all broke in front of me. When I realized that I wasn't broken. It's time to rebirth, or I'm gonna broke completely, which is mean the end of my life. And that for me, I was like, okay, if I'm changing and I decide, because it's a decision to change the paradigm of who I was and rebirth myself, that means I had to unlearn everything I knew. So then I understand and learn and create what I want to create about my life. So I learned how to have a voice slowly by slowly. As I start doing all of this and do all this work, because the inner me is start coming back, the child, the curiosity, the expansion. I start sharing this with people around me, and people start telling me, I resonate with you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're helping me. And then I start seeing the ripple effect. And that became my why. I'm like, I know I'm not the only one, because I thought I was the only one. I know I'm not the only one that doesn't have a voice. I know I'm not the only one that knows that something is in me, that I was put a seed in me to give myself birth, because I have the opportunity now. And as I start doing that, I start speaking, coaching, doing the things I needed to do to keep diving, understanding myself, so then I can rebirth myself. And it became my mission. Became my mission to realize, as I was watching people around me and observing, that I'm not the only one, and there's a lot of especially women out there, that they are voiceless. So then my mission became, from the way I did with in my own journey, and I continue to do. That doesn't mean to stop here. I'm a work in progress. I my mission is to help women in general, but also men as well too. But women is to help them to go from voiceless to voice activators, from invisible, the way I felt, to go to become impactful. Because every single person I was able, had opportunity and the honor to guide and help, I saw the seeds in them. I saw what they're capable of, and I knew they have so much to offer to their family, to their children, generations, and the world itself. So that became my big mission, my big why. I'm like, this is it. It was put in me for a reason. And as I progress, I realize, through my speaking on stages, doing workshops, creating online workshops. Yesterday I had an in-person workshop with another beautiful soul that she's client slash became my partner. It's beautiful how universe is bringing everything together. And we had in park a event that it was so beautiful and perfect for the people that were there to serve. And it is nature combination, connecting with the mind, the facts, the things that our mind is perceiving, connecting with the heart, and connecting with the nature. And it was beautiful. And these are the things that excites me. It gives me so much excitement when I'm able to step in who I am and not worry about what I need to say, because whatever needs to come through me to serve the people I'm there to serve is gonna come through me, as long as I trust and put myself on the side. And those are the things I love to do, and those are the things I want to put those seeds in the people I'm here to help, so they can see that the eggs that they feel they are into, they're not broken. They just want to rebirth themselves. They just don't know it yet, probably, or they don't have the right tools yet. So those are the things that really, really feel like I am more authentic. I am more who I'm here to do, because I step more in who I'm here to become. And those are my whys. Those are the people I'm here to help, especially as I'm going through my own progress. I realize that the people I'm here to help, we used to be taught that the people we're here to help is the people that we were, like our ideal client is the people that we were 5 years ago. And even that broke. And I realized that we're not here to help our ideal client. We're here to help us. We speak to us every day. We take to our journey the people like us, because we cannot help nobody else than us, because it's one verse. We helping the people around us, because we helping them, we helping us. We growing together. And that's a bit of my journey. Thank you, Lorna.
Mm. Thank you so much, Adriana. Beautiful. I love that. And what a great visual, that of the egg. Really potent. Oh, thank you. Tanya, would you please go ahead and share again your gifts, the gift of you, your superpowers, the gifts that you bring, who you serve and how, and your why, and in whatever order you would like to. And and then prior to beginning that, if you can pick up a thread from something that you heard Adriana share, connect into that,
Absolutely.
and then continue on, please.
Yeah, I love that analogy of the egg being broken from the outside is breaking, but being broken from the inside is birth. And that's really right in line with what I do too, is help people move through that feeling of breaking. Because when you're really facing the part of you that you want to avoid, but that's where the meat is. That's where change happens. And lately I've been doing classes on forgiveness each month. True forgiveness, not just the surface. I haven't thought about that in years and I've forgiven it, but the levels of forgiveness that we have within us that need to be addressed. I've been doing work from Margaret Lynch Ranieri's book Unblocked because I'm using emotional freedom technique with my clients. That's just one of the modalities that I use. But doing this work and acknowledging the negative, because it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to feel upset about something. It's okay to have negative feelings because we're human beings. We're going to have negative feelings. That's important for us to acknowledge it and not try to sweep it under the rug, because then what do you get? A lumpy rug, because you're going to be putting a lot of stuff there. So what I am encouraging people to do, and what I feel like is one of my gifts, is to be able to see underneath the surface of what's really going on and address the subconscious patterns that people create by not addressing them, by not looking at those negative feelings. So when I'm working with people, it feels like they like, how did you know that? Well, I have a gift of intuition, so I'm able to really find what's the real problem instead of looking at the surface stuff. So I was just using this as an example today. When I ask people, what do you want? They tell me the list of the things they don't want. And then I'll say, okay, I'm going to repeat the question. What do you want? And they give me another list of things they don't want. I'm like, okay, I'm going to repeat this question one more time, and you have to think about it first, because I don't want to hear what you don't want. I want to hear what you do want. And this is a really great exercise for anybody, because we know exactly what we don't want. But do we know exactly what we do want? And does it feel possible to get there? In my life, having experienced the stillbirth of my first child, knowing that at the end of a perfect pregnancy and in labor and having things change suddenly, and then going and finding out that he had already passed, was a huge blow. And it was one of those things where people tell you, oh, there's nothing worse in life. Um, there, there are many things that are worse, but we have to decide if we're going to let that be the wound that never heals, or if we're going to heal it. Now, I was at the end of chiropractic college when that happened. And so, as a doctor, looking for things and trying to find what's the root cause of everything, because that's what chiropractic does. We look for the root cause. And I go beyond that and look, what's the subconscious root cause? Because your subconscious is running your body. Your subconscious feelings that are patterns in your body are running what's happening. So I had to look at what was happening with me and say, what's the subconscious going on here? What's happening here? It was a really major time of introspection, because it was my body, it was my decisions to do what we did. It was up to me. And so who's to blame here? Well, you know what? Blame isn't really very conducive to healing. So we decided, my husband and I, that we are not going to blame anybody or anything for what happened, because people die, people live. Some people die when they're sad. Some people die when they're old. Some people die from an accident. People are going to not live anymore. They're going to die. And it's one thing to say that in kind of a flippant way, but it's another thing to say it in a way that understands that there's more to this than just living and then dying. There's more to this. So what can I get out of this? And the thought that always comes to me is, do you really believe that things happen to the highest good or not? And how do you find the highest good? Well, you have to look for it. You have to seek it. And so part of what I do when I'm working with people is help them find the action that's going to get them further down the road. Because it's not just saying the thing. It's not just saying, well, this is what upset me. It's going into there and finding out, what are the feelings that you're having about this? What are the feelings? Because your feelings are a roadmap to what is really going on. So if you follow the feelings and you acknowledge, own, and honor your feelings, whether they're negative or positive, doesn't matter. But acknowledging and owning and honoring your feelings is the path to release, let go, and allow more blessings to come in. So to me, the people that I work with are people that have been stuck in grief, that are ready to let it go. They've had enough. They understand that there's a pattern, that they don't know how to get out of it. That's what I help them do. I help them get out of that pattern. And one of the things that you can do is have a sense of humor about it. So I'll tell you a little funny story that happened. So we're in grief. This is many years ago. We're in grief. Our baby's not there. We're grieving this baby. We're laying around the house watching TV, and a commercial comes on and says, "There's nothing worse than a yeast infection." And we just fell over laughing because, of course, there's nothing worse than a yeast infection. We thought we had it bad. Our baby died. But no, a yeast infection is so much worse. The ridiculousness of that statement really helped break open our love and our joy at having had a baby. We had a baby. And we had one friend that brought a balloon to our memorial service for our son that said, "It's a boy." And let me tell you, the acknowledgement of having a baby and having a little boy was amazing. And we went on to have another child who's amazing, and he's 29 years old. So he lived and he's doing great. And it's just that idea of like, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So if we get caught up in these little things, it can really drive us really insane. And so what I want to do is give people as much peace as possible, because if people are doing things out of love instead of obligation, if they're doing things out of peace instead of having to get and feeling like they're striving and trying, I'm guilty of those things too. But if we can keep turning our ship toward peace and toward love, things are going to be a lot easier, and life will flow, and we'll have abundance in all things. So why not do that? I mean, that's a question I ask a lot. Why not? Why not do that? It's okay. It's okay for you to have negative thoughts. You can have negative thoughts and still be okay with it. You don't have to cancel everything you say. You don't have to cancel every word. You can just be thankful.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for sharing that and weaving that into that connection of from the inside out and what to do with those. Thank you so much. I will go next, and I'm going to pick up the thread from what Tanya shared, was that of the, it's about the emotions, about to have the emotions, and it's okay to feel them. And I think where that fits into this whole aspect of, get the timer going here, the whole aspect of the, how does that fit into sex and spirit and the feminine-led life? And it really comes down to that aspect of how we have been taught that we are separate from each other, from our divinity, from our emotions. And particularly, I think of in our culture, that people in male bodies are taught, toughen up, big boys don't cry, or boys don't cry, or, you're being a sissy, so really that type of a thing. And so looking at how men typically have been taught to not feel, to shut down their emotions, and to be able to that. Women are said, well, you're emotional, even in terms of our cycles and things like that. It's just a given that women are emotional, but women don't be sexual. Men, oh yeah, they're studs. Their boys will be boys. Men will be men, but don't feel. And so that very way where we get disconnected from things. And if you had asked me 15 years ago if I would be doing this work that I'm doing, talking about sex and spirit, talking about the feminine-led life, I would say, are you kidding? It was the very last thing on my mind. Why? Because I was so disconnected from sexuality, from my sexuality, from my body, and the whole idea of sexuality and spirituality. It was kind of like it was whatever the church said, fit into it this way, and anything else is so wrong, so bad, so sinful, and so shameful. And that's how I lived. And I was the good girl, you know, growing up. I was the good girl. I saved myself for marriage. And interestingly, the fact that I was married at the age of 18 and I was 42 when I had my first orgasm, there talks about some sexual disconnection there. And to be able to look back on when I had that, and that was with actually that I had hired somebody to help me connect to my body, to connect to my sexuality. I hired a coach, a masturbation coach, and wow, this is what my body can feel. And I thought that that was it. I thought, okay, I'm connected to my sexuality. And I wasn't. Yes, I could feel something and I hadn't before. I could experience something in my body, but the journey continued. And 5 years later, when I went to, when I talk about this, I get so many nods of the head because this disconnection from our sexuality and our spirituality, our body, seems to be quite prevalent with a lot of women. And when I had 5 years later, when I said, I need to find out, who am I? So doing courses and retreats and workshops and trainings, went through different things. And when I had what I called my midlife sexual awakening, it was not just a matter of, oh, what I can do in terms of sexuality. Interestingly, I met myself in the mirror. What I say, physically and metaphorically. I was sitting in front of a mirror, full-length mirror, naked against my bed, and I was supposed to be in this orgasmic yoga practice. And I'm thinking, are you kidding? This is gross. This is disgusting. This is really gross. The self-loathing that came up, the shame. And I stayed with it with the tears running down my face. As day after day, as the practice was, it just, oh, and the tears. And as I stayed with it and let those emotions be felt, those things that I had shut down years ago because being the good girl and, oh, this is the kind of marriage I'm going to be in. Okay, shut down my emotions, shut down and further disconnected from my body. That as I did that, it actually took me to not only shame, but to existential shame, the shame that I even existed. And when I tapped down to that, I was able to feel the depths of that. And from there, it was like I could connect to my body. I could connect to my sexuality. It was like amazing. But more than that, I had the realization that this is pure and good and right. It's not dirty and shameful and sinful like I've been taught. And that was what was an instantaneous 180-degree change of seeing myself, experiencing myself, but life. All of a sudden now life was erotic. I could see the erotic of life. I could see that creation of life, that expression of life, that aliveness. And that's where it became a natural thing to take my love and my gift of teaching from the school system and energy work, now add into that the sexual erotic realm of things, and to become a somatic sexologist and teaching people to reconnect. Women who came, I want to connect to my body, my sexuality. Good, I can support you. I've been on that road. Men who came and said, I want to be the best that I can for my wife, my partner, my girlfriend. And it was like, wait a minute, this is a different relationship or a different view of men than I had. It wasn't always about men getting off and women, crying and or faking orgasms. There was something here, and it started to shape me into, wait a minute, there's something here, to see the heart and the soul of men to serve. But it kept going, because in that sexual awakening was hundreds and hundreds of poems, and some of them were hot and steamy. Some of them were really tender and intimate. The majority of them spoke to the oneness of life. That which we have felt separate from, that which we have judged, that which we have said, oh, it's dangerous, I can't go there. Go there. That's the gold. Those places where we feel separate, go, because that's going to be the place that shares and speaks to our oneness of life. So from going separate, we connect to the source of life. Not source is separate, but we are. The source is us in lived experience. So in my work, I get to support people, and I typically work with women and men, and anybody who has anywhere on the spectrum of gender and sexuality, to be able to support them in connecting to their bodies, their sexuality, the feminine to be able to step into that embodied power, and for the masculine to sink into that place of service. Sometimes that shows up in my work as a dom, as a bondage practitioner and trainer. the supporting the feminine and really connecting into that embodied power. And I know what I want. I can say what I like, even though it's a journey to discover that. And the masculine to sink into that place. And what I realized was that that's our human journey. The awareness that the feminine is spirit and the masculine is form. And here we are right here in our fullness in this form, no matter what genitals we have. There's the form, there's the masculine, and that breath of life is the spirit living and breathing in throughout each of us. So my work is really in individual one-on-one, sometimes group work, sometimes into retreats and trainings, various things that I do to support people through that felt experience from where consent is done, really in an embodied experience, helping people to come back into feeling at home in their body, and from there living from the inside out. Why? Because I think that that's our journey. My journey is remembrance of that wholeness and how do we want to express, and to support people as well. So children can feel living at home in harmony within their own bodies, homes of harmony around where they can express and be whole, know their wholeness within as well. Check. All right. There we go. So Adriana, thank you very much for what you have shared, Tanya, for you sharing. And Michelle, I'm going to invite you to pick up a thread of something that I've shared, something that connects into that. And after you've shared, we're going to invite Adriana to do a weaving from something that you've heard as well from Michelle as the last speaker. Michelle, please share with us.
Okay, well, I think, I mean, you always share so much that I relate to, but I think the general takeaway for me is sort of that redefinition of identity and the balance that you come to. I think also Tanya said something where tuning into your feelings are your roadmap. And that they allow you to release and allow. Those are kind of the themes that I'm pulling from the two of you, because I'm currently going through a refresh of my own, a reinvention of my own identity as my 20-year-old nonverbal son with autism and self-injury is moving into placement into care facility. And so there's a large transition happening there, and I identify and I'm taking a look at my own purpose and focus as a being, as a spiritual being, having a human experience into my two goals. And I know that my two goals have always been, and the reason why I'm on this planet, my larger kind of picture why is actually twofold. One, to restore ecological function, and two, to end caregiver burnout. So I call myself the natural entrepreneur, and I'm formally, formally trained as a biologist and community stewardship coordinator. I had my mom was a naturalist and artist, nature artist. I had a science background training. I worked a lot with First Nations and their natural laws and governance. But also I am a mom, and I have experienced caregiver burnout from having all of those layers that we all do. I had a very high needs son, who can't basically be left unattended for more than an hour. I had at one point I had the turning point for me was I had my mom in facility, my daughter with impacts, a full-time job supporting military veterans transitioning out of service, running a respite and homeschool care company with a team of 8 people supporting 15 families to help. And I hit the wall, because you can't continue to just pour out and out and out and not replenish and sustain yourself. And in all of that, I lost myself, lost my identity. But as I regained, and built my skills around regaining my self-focus and building my self-love, and trusting into those feelings of what am I here for? How am I? Is this all that there is? That my sense of purpose and fire has sort of come back. And what does that have to do with digital marketing? Well, because that is sort of what I do. I have a business where I support people in developing their offer ecosystem, from, you know, free, low, mid, high ticket products, and the tech that supports them, whether that's subscription communities or affiliate programs or landing pages or websites or, sales pipeline funnels, all of the tech that propels online business. I arrived at that out of necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention, and it was because of the struggles that I faced with my son. So, and I'm ever grateful for him as my teacher, because when I found that navigating the systems, the government, insurance, educational, medical, other systems were not supporting him, and I needed to find, my act of stewardship of him through this life needed to, make sure that he's taken care of after I'm gone. And, you can't just hire any old babysitter. You need to, and I needed to have this care company that I built to take care of him. And the world is just not set up naturally. We go to these 9-to-5 jobs, and as I said, like all of the things that I had dealing with his therapy needs and relationship and finance, like our human systems with their, artificial country boundaries, imaginary, imaginary currencies, imaginary authorities, societal expectations that are pulled out of what, we have disconnected so completely from nature, from source, from self, that I began to wonder, why isn't life more set up like nature? Why are the natural things that I need to prioritize as a mother, as a business person, mimicking nature? Why don't we have interdependent businesses that, rather than a corporate monoculture? Why can't we design our businesses to redistribute wealth, like the hydrological cycle redistributes water? Why can't we have our life priorities, our personal strengths, our individual soul purposes, crafted into genuinely service-based things that flow to each other as transformational services, and then we receive support and compensation in exchange for that naturally. So that's where I and from a pragmatic point of view, as a mother paying very high rates for specialized care for my son, and not having government insurance to cover it, and seeing all the parents that I'd been supporting not be able to pay, I was sort of like, it is not okay that you can order a pizza to your door easier than you can get care for your high needs child and plan for their lives. And so I was I just needed to find the other revenue generating streams. The respite business we closed due to COVID, but it was sort of breaking even, but not really. And I needed to find extra revenue streams to support, because it was just not an option, that there was no services like the ones that I had built, providing care in home and community, that then sort of a gig environment. And there was no oversight and no support for the workers, and they were scrambling all the time, and it didn't support the parents in the right way, and it didn't support the kids. So the business worked well, for the kids, the parents, and the workers, but it wasn't breaking even, and I needed extra revenue streams. So I turned to digital marketing and supporting my clients, and armed up with all the skills, tools, and knowledge with the tech over the years. And so I have the why behind my business is that it's a social purpose enterprise that generates money to support respite and homeschool, as well as connects with organizations and supports for ecological restoration stuff. So those are how I'm bringing my digital marketing skills and business tools, helping people design their businesses to support my two purposes on the planet. So, and I love to do it. I love to make it easy for people to do what they do and to support people like the beautiful people in this room with the tech stuff that sometimes they hate, to make things easier so that they can focus on what they need to and bring their gifts. It gives me a kick to kind of see people out there getting stuff done and connecting with people who really need them. So that's me.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That beautiful heart. Rich. Adriana, if you would please go ahead and pick up a thread and connect in with what you heard Michelle share
Definitely.
today.
So I know Lorna mentioned this in our previous connection circle, but it's beautiful to witness that we have the opportunity to continue to update and share who we are and our gifts throughout these connection circles. And we do it for many reasons, because one is for those people that are in front of us, is our it's like Michelle said, to give it and receive it, so we connect together. And also is this beautiful understanding of, we see our own growth, our personal growth, and my beautiful co-host Michelle and Lorna, to see them as they evolving, as they building themselves, their identity on who they are, and to hear them speaking, they every time is not exactly the same. It's something adding on to us as we add on to who we are. When it comes to Michelle, I love, she said, why life is not set up like nature. It's life is set up like nature. It's truly set up like nature. We define it and we fight it against it. And what my biggest takeaway is this from every single one of you share, is that nothing is wrong. Nothing that we've been taught is wrong, is not wrong. It just is. It's not against us, it's for us. The same like nature is there to teach us every single day that everything works together. The same like Tanya talked about, the emotions are there, a roadmap that I wrote that. I was like, that's a truth bomb. I need to write down. The feelings and your emotion are a roadmap to help you to release whatever you need to release, to show you what is in there, not to block you. And those are such a beautiful takeaways for me, to close this connection circle of what we built today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Adriana. Oh my goodness, I love our circle. It's just so beautiful. Thank you, Tanya. And I love that you had additional time to share of your story and things. And Michelle and Adrienne, it's always a gift to be able to hear you share as well in its evolution, in our evolution. Michelle, if you would please go ahead and take us into round 3, the beautiful part of the circle that this is as well. Thank you.
Absolutely, and this is where we get to capture how we thought this session felt. So while I'm asking you to think of a word that described this session, I'm going to let you know that we, of course, are inviting everybody to participate again in Connection Circle. So make sure we'll drop the link below, and feel free to make sure that you connect with Tanya or Adriana or Lorna and I just in the comments, and we'll make sure that Tanya's contact information is there, you know, where Lorna and I and Adriana live. And that after this Connection Circle, we will do offer one-to-one interviews with Tanya as well, to give you a deeper dive even into her amazing work, which is profound and incredibly supportive. And we're so lucky to have her as a resource here. And then you can connect with her. And also, we have the amazing Micro Summit on burnout, which I'm stoked for because it's near and dear to my heart. And we'll have that on July 20th. So if you haven't signed up for that, we will, there's going to be 2 hours live on in our Facebook here group with the panelists, just like Tanya was on for grief last time. We will have 5 more speakers on burnout, and then there'll be a VIP private session, which is going to be fire. It is going to be Q&A sessions, deep dive questions direct in the Zoom room from the VIP ticket purchasers and the speakers so that they can deep dive, ask their personal questions around this specific talk. I mean, you came for a reason, you have a situation you want to connect and understand. You can understand once you understand who all the speakers are and what they do and gather the general information, you get a chance to have a deep dive Q&A. And then also, not only the deep dive Q&A, we have breakout sessions where more value from the speakers is going to come, and you'll learn all about the speakers' offers and what they do. So that's going to be incredibly valuable. And the speakers are giving, for the VIP attendees, are giving like literally, I think we're up to like $1,100 worth of gifts, and that's going to grow every time. So like this is everything from like workbooks and meditations and like courses and free consults and that sort of thing. So the VIP ticket is super valuable. It's $37, and it's going to be it's going to be mind-blowing. Plus you get all access to our wellness community portal that's going to have all of the VIP stuff from the past and from the future. So much value, it's crazy. But come to the Micro Summit either way. We're going to live cast that part here. So I think that's all I wanted to say otherwise. So let's get back to how this session went. And I think I'm going to start with Lorna today, because she was did such a yeoman's job of the connection circle. What was the word you'd choose to describe today?
Vibrant is the word that comes. Very vibrant and alive.
Sweet. Thank you so much. Let's go to our guest, Tanya. Oh, you're on mute.
I would say synergy. We just all came together and were able to reap some value from what everybody was talking about. And I think that's synergistic.
100%. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What was your word today?
Ecosystem.
I think you might have stolen mine. We were on the same wavelength there. Let's see. What am I feeling into for my word today? Authentic, I think, is the word, because when we tune into our own selves, as each of us have, it is the natural expression of our soul's purpose, and I think everybody really authentically showed themselves here today. So thank you so much. So we are going to look forward to you guys signing up next time for Connection Circle. If you've been before, come again. Doesn't matter. Get more promotion. Be visible in the group. Also, make sure you watch for our posts that Lorna does to drop your links as a wellness provider during the week. And hope to see you guys at the Micro Summit. Adriana, do you want to take us out?
Yes. Thank you again, my beautiful co-host, and thank you also to Tanya for being here, for taking her beautiful time to be here with us and share some of her vulnerability, her story, and also her inspiration, and show us that everything is possible. And bring humor into it, because that's why it's life is serious, but don't make it too serious. So thank you for making us light up the room as well. Thank you everyone for watching. We are absolutely thrilled you've been here, even live or replay. Please connect with Tanya, connect with each one of us. We'd love to have you on our next Connection Circle in couple of weeks. And otherwise, we will see you next week in our summit. We'll be excited. Thank you, everyone. And Tanya, we're looking forward to connect with you on our 101 to see you there and dive a little bit deeper. Also, Tanya, please put in the comments of this live on our group your links, and so people can connect with you. And everyone, big hug. Love you. Take care of you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.